Hello everyone, this is Ram Seshan. I'll be taking you through the course on applied natural language processing for the next 12 weeks. Uh, uh, I think you would be really interested to know what are the real requirements, the basic requirements for this course. If you know some computer science, probability and statistics at 101 level, linear algebra at the same level, and some machine learning, it will really help. And if you have lots of common sense, it's going to be really useful. If you are really interested in this subject, you can learn anything along the way. You don't need to really know the entire computer science or probability or statistics. You will definitely learn them along the way during this course. I will also be teaching some of the fundamentals which are required for this course as we move along. All right. Okay. So let me start with what is the goal of this course. Okay. The goal of this course, as given in this slide, is the ability to process and harness information from a large corpus of text with very little manual intervention. Okay, it's a long goal, and it's a very interesting topic to deal with, because natural language processing is always about the human intelligence, right? So when we speak to someone, the other person on the other end really understands what you are speaking, if he understands your language, and then tries to respond. And so it is an intellectual way of communicating to different humans, right? So we want to be able to make the machine do the same job. Is it possible for the machine to really understand what we speak, what we write, and what is available as part of the large corpus of text that we are going to be providing it? Will it be able to understand the meaning of every word? Will it be able to understand the sentence? Will it be able to understand the context in which we are speaking? All that. So this is going to be a very long drawn journey in order to make the machine really understand everything that we do in the natural language processing, right? There is a why to it, there is a what to it, and there is also an how to it, right? So why is about why do we want to do this, and then what is it, what are we doing to make the machine understand this, and then for us to make the machine do something, we also need to provide how you should proceed in certain fashion, right? So we will be answering all these three questions at certain level during the course. So is it really hard? Natural language processing, is it really hard? So we need to really ask this question to a toddler who doesn't know any language, right? But unfortunately the toddler won't be able to communicate back to you, because he or she doesn't know what we are asking. But the way they learn quickly the language, from the parents is an amazing one, right? But unfortunately we don't know how we really learn those languages when we were very small. Okay, so leave that apart. There are, when you talk about any of the topic or any subject, there are multiple ways of representing the same thing in one sentence, right? So we are so innovative in a way that we create sentences every time, and which are new and so on. We include a lot of common sense and contextual representation as we speak. For example, we would have seen one accident or some incident yesterday, and then when you're talking to your friend today about that, you will not be again taking the entire context into this and then start talking right from the beginning. So you start from somewhere. So both understand what we are talking about and we move on from there, right? We represent the information in a very complex way using some hard vocabulary and so on. We make some visual clues. We use hand symbols to communicate few things, without really saying in certain words. Ambiguous in nature, since these languages are created by humans, the way you represent, the way you talk, there could be some ambiguity in it. So we somehow manage to understand even if there is some ambiguity in what we are speaking, right? Idioms, metaphors and sarcasm make it hard, especially for the machine to understand those, right. So, how do you make the machine understand that there is a sarcasm in what you are saying, correct? And then the interpretation depends on the real world common sense and contextual knowledge. So, all those kinds of meta knowledge that we have, we need to somehow feed into the machine in order for the machine to really take on this job, right. So, it's kind of very complex mechanism in order for us to really represent that in certain algorithmic fashion. So, if you are able to really represent what we do using our language in an algorithmic fashion, then it is going to be easy for us to make the machine do what we do automatically. So, what are the typical tasks that we perform? I am sure you all know about this because we have been using search engine right from the time we started using our mobile phones or computers, right. Information retrieval, find the document that we are looking for based on certain keywords. And then there is another task that we do, which is called information extraction. Identify and extract personal name, date, name of the city, and then say certain other insightful information that we want to extract from documents. We just provide the keywords, for example, find which country this particular player belongs to, right. So, when you provide that information as a set of keywords, you get some Wikipedia results or some portal that provides you the details of what you are looking for. The next one is language generation. This is something that you might be using on a regular basis. For example, if you are using a mobile phone and then texting it to someone, right, the keyword starts appearing as you start typing, right. When you start typing the first word or when you start typing few characters at the keyboard, you see certain predictions or suggestions, right. And then once you type a keyword and then once you type one word or keyword or whatever in the search box or in the normal text box, you see another prediction depending on what you have typed earlier, right. Again, there is some kind of a suggestion that you see. So, that is something called as the language generation. We will also talk about that. And then there is another task that is performed which will automatically classify documents into groups. Supposing if there are about 10 groups in the documents that you have captured, text clustering will classify them into 10 different buckets on its own without really naming them. This is an automatic way of classification. It only uses what is there inside the document, and then depending on the keyword combination, it will start putting document A in bucket A and then document B in bucket B and so on and so forth. And the another one is text classification. This is something that you say, okay, classify these documents based on these types of keywords. If these types of keywords occur together, then it belongs to, let us say, physics document. If these keywords occur together, then it could be a spam email and so on. And the next one is the machine translation, is very, very interesting. This is about translation of one language to the other. So, for us to do that, the machine should be able to understand both languages. So, how do you make the machine understand this is part of the NLP task. I am sure some of you also would be using grammar checkers, as in when you type certain sentences in the text box, grammar checker automatically would start finding spelling mistakes and then maybe some syntax corrections. Will provide you some syntax corrections in the sentences that you are typing. Okay. So, these are at a very high level the typical tasks that we would be looking at.